My name is Chris Sasser, and I am designated to be the hearing officer for these proceedings. The role of the hearing officer is limited to ensuring an orderly hearing so that an accurate record of the hearing may be developed for the department's evaluation. On behalf of Director Lance LaFleur and the department, we appreciate your attendance and participation this evening and thank the City of Livingston for allowing us to use this facility for this hearing. The subject of this hearing is the proposed modification of the hazardous waste facility operating permit for chemical waste management. The EPA identification number for the site is ALD 000622464. The purpose of this hearing is to provide the public with an opportunity to present oral testimony on the proposed permit modification. In addition to oral testimony, the department also will consider all written comments submitted before the close of the public comment period. The department has requested your comments, and we appreciate your taking the time to make them known to us. Notice of the date, time, place, and purpose of this hearing was published in the Sumter County Record Journal on December 7th, 2017. In addition, the department also sent notice of this hearing by electronic mail to 1,366 individuals and organizations who had previously requested advance notice of permit proceedings. A copy of the notice, the certifications of publication, and the mailing list will be entered into the record of these proceedings. Copies of the fact sheet, public notice, and draft permit application have been made available for inspection by the public and at the Department of Environmental Management's office at 1400 Coliseum Boulevard in Montgomery. The notice, application, and proposed permit have also been made available on the department's website. This hearing is open to the public, and anyone wishing to present oral testimony or a written statement may do so. Those who have not previously completed a registration card like this to give testimony should do so at this time and present it to the department representative at the registration table out front. To my left, your right. Those who wish to receive the department's response to comments should also fill out a registration card. Lengthy statements or those containing considerable technical or other complex data should be submitted in writing. Summaries of such statements may be presented orally. All testimony and written comments should be as factual as possible and should address the subject of this hearing. This hearing is an opportunity for members of the public to offer comments to help assure that all relevant factors are considered before a final permit decision is made. The department is limited in the factors it can consider when making permit decisions and must base the determination on whether the permit applicant has satisfied applicable environmental statutes and regulations. Persons giving testimony will not be subject to questioning by the public, but may be questioned by the hearing officer or department staff to clarify points and to develop a better understanding of what is being presented. This proceeding today is not an open forum as in a question and answer session. Rather, it's an opportunity for you to submit comments that you wish the department to consider in the final review of this proposed permit. It is important to note that written comments submitted through the mail are given the same consideration as those that are presented in person at this hearing. All oral and written testimony will be included in the hearing record. In addition to oral testimony, written comments also may be submitted. All written statements previously submitted and those received by the hearing officer by the end of the public comment period will be included in the hearing record. Only those portions of the chemical waste management permit proposed for modification are subject to comment at this time. Once complete, the hearing record, including a transcript of this hearing and all written submissions received by the department before the close of the comment period, will be open to public inspection at the department's offices in Montgomery. After giving full consideration to the hearing record, the Department of Environmental Management will announce its decision on proposed permit modification. Now, on to the purpose of this hearing. The receipt of public comments. The order of appearance of persons giving testimony will be as follows. First, a representative of the Department of Environmental Management, a representative of Chemical Waste Management, Inc., then any elected officials or their representatives who have registered to speak. All remaining members of the public will be heard in the order in which they file their registration cards. If you wish to testify and have not already registered to do so, please register at this time. These cards over there. I would ask that each person making a statement step up to the podium, state your name and any interest or organization that you represent. I am requesting that everyone limit your comments to 5 minutes, since I have asked for lengthy statements to be submitted in writing. I will now recognize Mr. Clay Messer to present a statement on behalf of the Department of Environmental Management.
Good evening. My name is Clay Messer. I'm the Chief of the Engineering Services Section of the Industrial Hazardous Waste Branch of the Alabama Department of Environmental Management, also known as ADEM. I will briefly describe the background, purpose, and content of the draft permit modification to the hazardous waste treatment, storage, and disposal permit developed by ADEM under the authority of the Alabama Hazardous Waste Management and Minimization Act, also known as AHWMMA. Chemical Waste Management, Inc., also known as Chem Waste, is located approximately 5 miles north of the town of Mill and 3 miles east of the Mississippi-Alabama state line in Sumter County, Alabama. Chem Waste is a commercial, hazardous waste, and chemical waste treatment, storage, and disposal facility which covers approximately 2,700 acres and is surrounded by farmland and woodlands. Chem Waste accepts hazardous waste both in containers and bulk shipments, which may be blended and bulked prior to being shipped off-site for further treatment or recovery, decanted and stored prior to shipment off-site, processed prior to on-site landfilling, or placed directly in the on-site landfill, depending on the applicable treatment standards. The proposed permit modification addresses the following changes. Number 1, storage capacity calculations for storage building 602 were revised. Several monitoring wells were abandoned and therefore removed from the permit. The subject wells were not required to be sampled and were used only for groundwater elevation measurements. The waste analysis plan was revised to modify protocols for sulfide and PCB screening, and typographical errors were revised throughout the text. These changes are also detailed in the fact sheet. The purpose of the permitting process is to develop the specific requirements necessary for the permittee, in this case Chem Waste, to comply with the AHWMMA and hazardous waste regulations promulgated thereunder by ADEM in the ADEM Administrative Code. Alabama is federally authorized to administer and enforce the AHWMMA in lieu of the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act of 1980 and the Hazardous and Solid Waste Amendments of 1984 within the state. The AHWMMA, as amended, is the state statutory authority to regulate the management of hazardous waste. Based on our review of the permit modification request, the department has made a preliminary determination that the proposed modification would be in compliance with the applicable state and federal hazardous waste requirements and thus protective of public health and the environment. The purpose of tonight's hearing is to provide an opportunity to receive public comment regarding the proposed permit modification. The department welcomes your input to this process and will consider all substantive comments on the portions of the permit proposed for modification. Portions of the permit that are not affected by the proposed modification are not subject to comment at this time. Prior to making a final decision concerning this permit modification, the department will provide a written response to each commenter and to those requesting specific notice of our decision.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the facility that wishes to speak? I now call on Mike Davis with Chemical Waste Management, Inc. to make a statement.
Thank you. I think I know a large number of y'all in the room, but for those that don't know me, I'm Mike Davis. I'm the Senior District Manager for the Amel facility, and I've been the Senior Manager since 2007, but more importantly, you know, I've been part of the Amel team for 38 years, so I know quite a bit about the history and quite a bit about what we do at our facility. To kind of go back to what Clay was talking about, our permit that he's referring to has been in existence since 1997. And that permit has a cycle of every 5 years. So every 5 years we have to submit an application to renew our process, and this is part of that process. Sometimes we have to go in and we have to make typographical and administrative errors to make sure that that document is correct, and that's what this permit modification is all about. And the wells that we are referring to in this permit modification are not part of our groundwater monitoring plan. These wells that we are referring to were actually part of a geological study and also part of our ability to measure water depths in Selma Chalk. So as far as the monitoring wells that are at Amel, there is no plan to change those wells. There are no requests to do anything other than to follow our original plan of what the groundwater monitoring plan at Amel is. And there's over 50 wells that exist to accomplish that. And I'd like to show you a picture of the facility so you get an idea of where these wells are. Can everyone kind of see the yellow dots and the green dots that are on the picture? Basically, what we're required to do, there is a ring of wells that go around the facility, and that's what this picture here represents, or more than 50 wells that exist for the groundwater monitoring plan. And as I said before, we're not changing anything in regards to that requirement. I'd like to show you, does everybody, can you see it? Got it?
Not clearly. I see dots, I don't know what's what.
Well, the dots are where the well points are.
Yeah, I can't tell what the colors are. But anyway,
And I have another slide,
Are you talking about the yellow dots?
the yellow dots and the green dots.
Do you have somebody form out?
Pardon me?
Do you have somebody form out?
Sure.
Sure.
Those are the green dots here. There's a couple more off screen. And these are the yellow dots. If we could probably, I don't know if we can do
all right,
the lights.
where are the ones in question? Which ones are we talking about?
The ones that are being taken out of the permit?
Right.
Yes.
They're kind of in the center of the facility, and then down to the south, and then back to the west.
Is there a, can you point out the front entry so that we have an idea where it is?
Sure. Scott, you want?
Can you all see that pointer?
Mhm.
That's the front entrance way right there. This is Highway 17 going north and south. That's the entrance.
All right, and then we'll show you another picture, which is cross-section of the monitoring wells that are in existence and how they work.
Mr. Davis, you're submitting these two pictures along with your comments for the record?
Yes.
Okay, do we have a copy of this, or will?
Yes.
Okay.
It's in their copy.
All right, are you wrapping up?
Yes, and so, you know, with that, you know, the thing is that, you know, we at Chemical Waste Management, safety and, you know, our responsibility to the citizens of Sumter County, and we take it very seriously, so it's job one. And, you know, we're very proud to be part of Sumter County, And so we accept our responsibility and we want to do that. So that's why we're here tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. I believe Commissioner Jackson is asked to speak. Give comment. Commissioner Jackson, you recognize and correct the podium. Good evening.
Good evening. I do represent District 1, and within that district, we do have a well where my citizens drink water daily for their household, and it is less than 1 air mile from that site. So they are seriously concerned about the closing of the wells. And they are also concerned about why you gave Mr. Davis such a short term to present himself. We do, as citizens, feel like being in America and being in a democratic society, that we have the right to question what is going on. And we would love a thorough explanation of this. I know the people at Chem Waste, they pay ADEM, and they've been paying you lucratively. So we would like for you to let us know what's going on and explain to us a little bit more about the wells. Thank you.
Commissioner Jackson? I believe Commissioner Zipper, is that right? Sorry. I'm sorry. All right, Commissioner Weasel, I apologize.
Thank you. I do believe that the situation that people are more educated about, if you could educate the public more on what's going on, you wouldn't have such a large turnout like this. Maybe through a newspaper or Chem Waste hold a training of the public or something to that effect. I don't think anybody's here to harm anybody, but it's just the perception of closing wells and drinking water in the same sentence. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Are there any other elected officials who are present and wish to speak? Okay. Seeing none, we will now proceed to receive public comments in the order that the registration cards are completed. It's approximately submitted to the representative at the table on the back. All speakers should identify themselves and any organization which they represent if they do. And my first card is Mr. John Zipper. Did I pronounce that correctly, sir? Did I get your name right, sir?
So my name is John Zipper, and I am the co-publisher and editor of the Greene County Democrat in the next county over in Utah, Alabama. I've also lived and worked in Sumter County from 1971. I lived from 1971 to 76 near Epps. And from 76 until 2016, I worked at the Federation of Southern Cooperatives, which is in North Sumter County, about 5 miles north of Epps, in the catchment area of Chem Waste facility. At the Federation, we have been involved for years in studying the impact of this facility. And I think I share some of the concerns of people who spoke before, that we really want to be sure that when Chem Waste Management makes a change and an adjustment in their permit, that we will still have safe drinking water and safe access to the use of the land and the soil and the waters of Sumter County and adjoining counties that are affected by this aquifer. As I understand it, this aquifer flows through most of the counties south of Sumter County, south and east of Sumter County, after it leaves from under Chem Waste Management. So I'm concerned. I'm wondering, how long are you going to accept written comments?
I will announce that at the end of the hearing, sir.
Okay. Because I've been, well, when you announce a hearing on December 7th, and we had a special election in Alabama on December 12th, and we had Christmas and all of that after that, I'm concerned about having enough time to really review this. Now, I will admit to you that I have not studied the document as yet, but I hope I will have time to do that and make some written comments. So I really checked that box on the card because I wasn't quite sure what was going to be said here, and I wanted to be sure to be able to make some comments and be able to submit some meaningful written comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Zipper.
Excuse me, I'm an elected official. I'd like to,
All right.
I have a card. I just didn't put my position down.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm Tom Tart,
Okay.
Mayor of the City of Livingston. Good evening. As I said, I represent the City of Livingston, Alabama, and I'm fifth generation Sumter County and Livingstonite, and I've served in the position of mayor since 1980, about as long as Waste Management's been here. I've been here. You know, I'm not a geologist. I'm not a geotechnical engineer. I'm not a chemical engineer, but Waste Management has all those folks that work for them. You have all those folks that work for you, and I depend on those type people making sure that Chem Waste lives up to what your permit says. That's what your job is. That's what you're charged to do. And for nearly 40 years, it's been a pretty good partnership between ADEM and Waste Management, and been a wonderful partnership with this community. I don't have to tell anyone in this room the tens of millions of dollars that Waste Management has made in this community, in this county, in this region's coffers through employment dollars for the employees and tax dollars. And I'm not one to sit here and say that I'm going to turn a blind eye because we get a check from Waste Management. City of Livingston is 182 years old. We were around for a long time before Waste Management got here, and God willing, we'll be here a long time when Waste Management's gone, and I'm gone too. But there are probably 2 or 3 dozen small entities in this community that were not here before and functioning before waste management came into this county, and they would be gone without waste management. I trust the management of this company. I trust ADEM to do the job that they are charged to do in EPA, to monitor what this company does and to keep us safe. Is my understanding, and if I'm wrong, please somebody correct me, there's no change in the monitoring water wells on this facility that we just looked at. Everything that's been in place for the past 20 or 30 years is still there to monitor the water. The few wells that they're talking about doing away with was one that was monitoring the Selma chalk to prove that they were put in 38 years ago to prove that the Selma chalk was impermeable. And I think that's been a pretty much proven fact. The city of Livingston has 2 deep water wells in this aquifer that we're talking about. That's where my water comes from all the citizens in my community. And I would not stand up here for 1 minute if I thought for 1 second that that was in jeopardy. And I put it in the hands, this is their business, this is their livelihood. It doesn't behoove them to try to do anything that's going to get them in trouble, get them fined, or get them shut down. And you're the people that have to tell us that they're doing what they're supposed to do, and I trust in you doing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Is that correct?
Okay, our next speaker, I'll do my best with the name, Mr. Richard. Start with G. Gaines, please.
Upside
You decline? Did I butcher your name, or did I get your name right, sir?
Yeah, Richard, I think.
What's the last name, sir?
Gagne.
Gagne, okay, thanks. All right. The next speaker is Mr. Charlie Munoz. Did I get that right?
Did you have Spanish in high school?
Just a very little bit, sir.
You got very close to the pronunciation.
Yes, sir.
My comment is more in the line of an anecdote rather than a comment. I understood that the comments were only to be substantive comments. Years ago, when public awareness of the site first arose, I know someone that went on site and artesian well, and they collected some water from the well. Well, there they are bending down, getting the water out of the well, and a Kim Waste truck stops, and the guy got out and frantically waved his hands and said, "No, no, don't drink that water." So, there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Munoz. Okay, I have actually 2 names on the next. It's either Gary or Mr. Gary or Miss Melinda Busby.
We pass.
Okay, Busby Hall. Okay. Next speaker is Mr. Pierce Boyd.
I'd like to speak later on, but he's up for. I'm reserved, I'd like to speak later.
Okay, who would like to speak? Pass.
I want to come back and speak.
All right, well, this is your time to speak.
I'd like to come speak after some of those that should speak.
Okay. Is Linda Munoz?
Good evening. This really upsets me because I, along with others in this room, worked for years and years to try to get ADEM to tell us what was going on at that site. And after a while, I came to the point in my life to where I could get out of Sumter County if I needed to. And as a result, I now have a home in North Alabama. If I get to the point to where I no longer trust you guys or Waste Management, I can leave. But there's so many people that cannot leave this county. And to read that you guys won't even answer our questions. Now, why are you having a public hearing for comments when we don't even know? We haven't even had the chance to question. We read in the paper that the permit in question is so large that my computer won't even download it. So how can I possibly make any comment? And as far as those wells that you're taking out, you said they had to do with the geology. Is that correct? They monitor the geology and the Selma chalk. Is that correct? Well, I got news for you. There is a fault called the Livingston Fault. All we need is one good earthquake, which will come. And that's it. That's it for that aquifer all the way from here to Montgomery, where you guys live, right? The aquifer goes all the way under. So I'm just saying, we need more information. We need you guys to come back, give us more information, and tell us why you're getting rid of those wells. I'm concerned that you're taking out wells that tell us about the geology and about the safeness of that Selma chalk. Thank you.
Next speaker is Terry Oswell. Did I get your name right, sir?
Yes, sir. Roswell.
Roswell. Sorry.
My name is Terry Roswell. I live here. I'm not originally from the area. And my first encounter with waste management was when I was a college student studying environmental biology. And I interviewed the gentleman who then was in charge of the site. And they were beginning, just setting up. And I made my report and went on and got my degree. But this guy, I'm sorry I don't remember his name, assured me there'd be no dioxin, no PCBs, and several other things that weren't going to be on the at this site. And none of that was true. All of those things, I understand, are there now. They sort of came in the dead of night after a little shady deal with George Wallace, I understand. And so I have a little trouble putting my faith in this company. I hope that I can trust them, but I don't know. And there's a lot at stake because I've got family whose livelihood depends on that farmland that's around this site. And if they contaminate that groundwater, they're out of business. We're talking generations that have lived there that won't be able to. This is important. And I'm listening tonight, and you're being real sketchy with the plain English explanations. I am waiting for somebody to tell me what those wells do. They monitor geology. I don't know what that means. Are any of these wells used to test for chemicals? To see if they're leaching out of the wells that are supposed to be lined with clay? And when I've been over there watching bulldozers run over those drums, this should be in all our best interests. We should be pulling together on this. And when this thing's no longer viable, I'm concerned that the guys in the suits are going to turn off the lights, lock the door, and get in their cars and go home and leave us with it. I'd like to have some trust here, and I'm not feeling good about this. I don't know why you're canceling these wells. If it's redundant and it's not doing any good to continue to test them, it's no longer necessary and it doesn't pose a threat, then clearly state that. I haven't heard that. You know, and the previous speaker talked about ADEM being evasive with, that should not be happening. I don't know that. I haven't dealt with you folks, but, you know, you need to have our backs, and we need to feel like you do. Our representatives need to stand up for us, and we need to feel like they do. I think they are. I encourage everybody here not to accept this just on face value based on what someone assures you is the case. You know, let's press a little bit and let's get the details from the people who can provide them so that we can make an informed decision about this. My history with this company is not one that causes me to want to trust them blindly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roswell. Mr. Steve Boyd. Ma'am, have you filled out the form?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well then, we'll call on you in order to submit this. Okay.
Let me have that chair right there. My name's Steve Boyd. I think just about everybody here knows me. Cousin Steve to some folks. And folks at Kim Waste used to talk to me that they found out Cousin Steve was an attorney, and they shut up. But anyway, I've got 2 empty boxes here. Hold 5,000 pieces of paper each. The document that they put online, the ADEM did, was 7,611 pages in one PDF document. Now, you've read the paper. You know a lot of people couldn't download it. Well, I've got Verizon service, and I was able to download the documents, but it's almost impossible to go through. If anybody wants a copy of them, I'll get you a copy of it. And I won't charge you $15 like ADEM does. Or ADEM will send you all these documents, 30 cents a day.
Mr. Boyd, excuse me, could you just space a little bit?
Sure.
Order, not get your statement.
Thank you. You know, I'm no geologist, I'm no scientist. I don't know what's going on up there. I think that it's never a good idea to shut down a test well. Why not? Why not keep it going? You know, in August 24th of this past year, there was a 2.1 magnitude earthquake in Epps. ADEM, is this a technical question? What effect did this earthquake of August 24th, 2017 have on the site? Now, Kim Waste didn't know there was going to be an earthquake. It's not their fault. Okay? But we depend on ADEM to tell us what's going on. And I just don't think that ADEM is doing an adequate job. These documents, in my opinion, should have been sent to the county, either put in the library or the commissioner's office, somewhere. If someone wanted to see the documents, they should have been allowed to see the documents. And another thing, if you are relying on the internet to get your message out, I want you to go over to Dan Mitchell Road and pull your phone out and tell me if you get a signal.
That's right.
You can't get a signal there. You couldn't, if you were over there, you would burn up all your data if you had HughesNet for the month trying to get it download this document. Because I burned about half of the stuff I had up in my office. You need to respectfully communicate with the people of this county. Keep in mind, we're the second poorest county in the nation, only about $170. And some of the poorest people live right around that site. A lot of older people, they don't know how to operate a computer. You need to respectfully communicate your message. This is the way you do it. You come, you look at us in the eye, and you tell us what's going on. Now, I know you're here to represent the citizens of Alabama, and you've got the natural citizens that live and breathe, and you've got the corporate citizens that pay a lot of tax. We know which way the stick normally floats. What we're asking for, and what I'd like to see, is a yearly meeting to tell us what's going on at Chem Waste. Speak to us. Tell us what's going on. And now, if you want to help us get the internet service, I'm sure Chem Waste might donate a little land for Verizon to put a tower on if y'all want to subsidize the tower, since there's not enough business there for them to put one up. But if you're going to do it that way, help us build our infrastructure. Thank you. I'll leave these here for you.
Next speaker is Johnny Aycock. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir, you did well. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. I am here on behalf of the University of West Alabama. I'm Special Assistant to the President. And on behalf of our President, Dr. Ken Tucker, we also do not, like some, do not have any technical expertise in this issue. We have not reviewed anything, but we felt it was necessary and important for us to stand up for Chem Waste in terms of our partnership with the company. Chem Waste is an important economic asset to this county and to this region. That's the first thing, both in terms of employment, in terms of what they infuse into our economy. Secondly, we could not ask for a better corporate citizen. They are there when we need them. They have performed at high levels anytime we've requested their assistance. They've been a tremendous partner to the University of West Alabama in so many different ways, and that's something we're very, very grateful for. The third thing, and being able, with the opportunity to work with especially Mike Davis and his team, I cannot say enough about the integrity of Mike and this team. They do what they say they're going to do. They're honest. I sincerely believe they have the safety of our citizens at heart, and I think they work hard to make sure that safety is protected. I am totally convinced that they have the expertise to understand what they can and can't do within the laws and within the guidelines of ADEM. You've got a difficult job at ADEM. I've had 38 years in economic development. I've worked with ADEM on many, many occasions. It's not easy. It's not easy at all, but we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you listening, and I'm pretty confident that you're going to respond appropriately to the citizens of this county. Thank you.
Very good. Mr. Boyd, you had asked to pass, and I think this Tiger also wanted to see, but Mr. Boyd, you'll come on up.
Thank y'all very much for having this meeting. I'm sorry we had to pass letters back and forth to request it. But for those who don't know me, I'm Pierce Boyd. My brother and I own land immediately adjacent to the waste dump. Pretty much every drop of water that leaves off the waste dump either goes across our property or the Winston's property. So whatever happens there with the surface water and from the air quality, we bear the blunt of it, period, end of sentence on it. And we too, like them, do not appreciate the way we have been treated and disrespected. And I say that very sincerely. In the sake of transparency, my job does not pin or does it receive any funds directly from waste management or chemical waste management on that. So just want to say that for the sake of transparency. My comments are going to be a combination of comments and questions. I know you don't want to take questions, but I'm going to have to ask some. When did y'all receive this permit from the waste dump people?
Mr. Board, and let me just clarify for everyone that the way we're going to handle this hearing, the way we've handled the past, is you're welcome to submit questions along with your comments, and when the department makes a decision, we will respond to the comments, and we'll also respond to the questions and the comments.
Okay, I'll continue then.
Yes, sir. And while I stop you for a second, if you will just make sure that you kind of face the board, we're going to make sure that we get down everything.
I apologize for that.
That's all right.
On this approximately 2 boxes of data, I too had problems downloading it from your site. Matter of fact, I tried 3 different computers, and one of the computers was a mega computer. Wouldn't do it. Absolutely wouldn't do it. Now, I don't know why. I'm not a computer expert. Matter of fact, I want to show you an email that I got from your organization. I know you don't want to answer questions, but would you be so kind?
Is this our copy, sir?
Yes, that's your, you sent it to me. Yeah.
Right. Since you're submitting it.
You're welcome to pass those around. Would you mind telling me what that says? Would you pass those to me, please? Would you tell me what that says? Did you read it?
Sir, this is not a question and answer.
It's your document. I'm just asking you to explain your document.
I understand, but we're not going to do this. This is the way we do this hearing. We're going to hear from you, and then we'll respond with the appropriate time. Okay? So go ahead and submit all the questions.
Okay. In accordance with the testing, is the testing done in accordance with ASTM? Is the testing done in accordance with ASCE? I know I'm using hieroglyphics here, but if you know what those are, you understand it. When did ADEM receive a copy of the permit? Have either one of you individuals read it in its entirety? Please, that's too much to ask. Just nod or shake your head.
We're not doing that. We're going to receive comment from you, sir.
Okay, that. In Sumter County, we have, I know y'all have regulations. Sumter County, we have what we call respect. We respect each other. Anybody in this room gets cold or hungry, you can walk up to anybody in this room and they'll feed and house you. Take care of you. We respect each other. We may not agree with each other on everything, but we respect each other. Gentlemen, I don't get that from y'all, and I've never got it from these people. Never. And I would really appreciate you sitting down, Mr. LaFleur, and asking about that. I have a letter here from EPA to Chem Waste. Bear with me a minute. I can't find a date on it as when the letter was sent. I'm going to read you from it. I'm sorry, this is the only copy I got. The waiver states, this is a waiver from 265 requirements. Not one, 265. You understand? Okay. No response. Okay. It says, and I quote, the waiver states that the time of travel for waste constituents to reach the Utah Formation, that's the Selma Chalk or the White in North Sumter County. The Utah Formation or the nearest surface waters exceeds 1,000 years. You mean to tell me that it takes 1,000 years for water to cross one side of Highway 17 to the other side of Highway 116? Does it take 1,000 years? I don't think we in Sumter County are quite that stupid. We discussed the earthquakes. If you will look at U.S. Geological Survey in Tuscaloosa at the university, it shows a earthquake fault line running from from northeast Mississippi, around Columbus, literally picking up Highway 17 around Dancy, Alabama. For those you don't know, that's about the Sumter County, Pickens County line, and literally follows Highway 17 all the way down to Choctaw County and breaks off to the Sumter County, Choctaw County line and breaks off to the southeast. That's it. That place is sitting on top of an earthquake. Here's a copy, and I'll get you a copy of this. I'm not going to charge you for it. Please put that in the notes. I'm not going to charge you like you charge me. You want to charge me 30 cents a page for these 2 boxes. And they said they're going to get a copy of it to us and have yet. Now, I got a letter today stating that I could go up to the waste dump and sit there and get a copy and read it. How long do you think it'd take you to read 7,611 pages? How many does it take y'all? I'm not through.
I understand, Mr. Boyd, your time is expired,
I'll wind up here in just a few minutes.
Okay.
This is the highlighted on copies of earthquakes in the local area. I'll get you a copy of it. Now, it has been said by paleontologists that there was a fossil found in North Sumter County back in the late 1800s. One fossil of a kind in this world. The gentleman was so kind that he loaded it up and carried it back to Europe, and it's in a museum in Sweden right now. Our family mined that chalk for years, making the lag line. Let me tell you, it is absolutely full of fossils. Nothing's ever been said, nothing's ever been done about preserving that archaeological and paleontological findings on that site, in the area. The University of Alabama, when I grew up just north of that site, every summer we sent people down there for 2 to 4 weeks, and they spent their time on that site, on that property, picking up fossils. Nothing's been said, nothing's been done, nobody's ever considered that. That's called disrespect, not only to the people of Sumter County, but to our county. I'm not going to harp on respect that much more. I think it's obvious that we need to develop a better rapport and respect. And I'm not talking about them, I'm talking about ADEM and the people. Y'all need to come back and let us respond to what y'all giving us. One last question. Do you have a cell phone? Please. If anybody has a cell phone or laptop in front of them, can you do Google Maps? If you would, do Google Maps. In this document, it says the nearest hospital is Hill, Alabama. Mr. Armistead, Ms. Jackson, I'm missing. Y'all are Sumter County Commissioners. Could y'all tell me where Hill, Alabama is in Sumter County? You're going to send people to a hospital, to a town that doesn't exist. That is asinine. That is serious. What else in this document is bad? I'm not going to get into the water. I'm not going to get into the other. But a good point was brought out. There's nothing in the process right now. Nobody discussed with us or told us if something happens, how we're going to be notified. And that is your people's job, and y'all need to tell us. And you let us know what we can do to help you. And again, thank you for doing this tonight. Thank you for acknowledging me.
And our last speaker is Kate Packer. Did I pronounce that correctly? Yes, sir. All right. You will proceed to the podium.
Okay, I'm going to speak loudly enough where everybody can hear me.
My mother was born in Sumter County. My grandmother, great-grandmother, great-great-grandmother, my family goes back a long time here. I have a home in North Alabama and an old home here in Sumter County in York, and a business building in York, the Opera House. I have been involved with my concern about Chem Waste for 40 years of the process of them moving in and seeing what happened over the time. For example, I want to ask you, will our comments be, are they being recorded? And will it be available on the ADEM website?
I'll address that.
Okay, thank you. The almost 8,000 page document was something I couldn't download. So I asked people to help me with little bits of information. If Chem Waste is so great, why aren't there more jobs? Why are people moving out of Sumter County? We've lost a lot of population here. Businesses are gone. Where are the jobs for people in Sumter County? I know the employees are glad to have a job down there, and I'm sure that site will continue. But when I first started fighting this dump site, it was because the employees' shoes were melting in the dumps. I mean, they would be down in the dump site trying to get the waste unloaded, and their very bottom of their shoes were melting. They didn't have respirators. They didn't have protective clothing. So our citizens in Sumter County made that happen. We're the reason there was some safety clothing and respirators for the workers. If they're so great, why are we the poorest county in the nation, just about? Are we the poorest or the second from the poorest in the nation? Why is that? We should have, if this facility is so great, there should be all kind of businesses moving in here. We only have, do we have 2 hospitals anymore? I know the Livingston closed down, and I don't think the Hill Hospital is used for anything much anymore. So people have to go out of the county for medical care. And they might not live if it's an emergency, for sure. I worked for a surgeon for almost 10 years in York. I was his office manager, so I knew what was going on at Chem Waste. And I could try to get this information out to people that could do something about it. ADEM is the least staffed and funded agency in the United States. Did you know that? So we don't have the proper hearing status so that we can speak as long as we want and that somebody can answer a question for us. We don't have that here in this state. It's in other states. We need an on-site inspector that's not related or profiting from Chem Waste. We need somebody to go down there and inspect that facility and make real reports. They used to report all the time. I used to go to the facility and look at the reports and take tours so I could see what was going on there. The earthquakes is a real matter that was brought up. I'm happy that was done. Illegal waste still comes to Chem Waste. Or is anybody monitoring that? They've been doing it for years. Illegal materials. The aquifers are extremely valuable. Once they are ruined, it's not safe to drink. We need a cancer registry here in this county. And the liners, let me say this. The reason we have liners in those pits is because of our organization, ACE, Alabamians for Clean Environment, that made them put them in those pits. Because the liners only last 12 to 20 years, so we're way beyond it being safe anymore. Not that it was, because they dumped liquid toxic waste in those pits without liners for years. The cancer registry needs to be developed in this county. And I think there's total disrespect for the people of Sumter County, because we're a sacrifice zone. We're sacrificed. Thank you.
Anybody testing the water?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. I'm going to go to ADEM and see the records. I will come up there pretty soon. Anybody want to come with me? I'm glad to have a help. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tiger. We have another speaker, Mr. Marcus Bernard. Bernard, stay right up here and talk to us.
All right. My name is Dr. Marcus Bernard. Been in Sumter County now for about a year and a half, director of the Rural Training and Research Center for the Federation of Southern Cooperatives over in Epes, Alabama. And in my research, I've studied many of the environmental disasters in West Virginia, in Tennessee, Cancer Alley in Louisiana, most recently in my hometown with the Gen X chemical exposure in southeastern North Carolina. And so, it's a real concern thinking about the toxic exposure that could take place, as I'm sure it was in all of those other places. So the question I would like for you all to address in your comments is, what are you going to do to prevent an after the fact if something did happen? So what measures are you putting in place to stop an after the fact, or to make sure that the residents and people in Sumter County and surrounding counties that will be touched by an accident or an unfortunate occurrence or phenomena, what measures are going to be put in place to make sure that the citizens are protected? So that's my question. So I hope that in the comments and responses, we'll see something.
Thank you, Mr. Bernard. Okay, no more speakers? Okay. The department will...
Excuse me, one more, and point of clarification. Is any incident of the waste dump up there posted on your website?
We'll answer that.
That's just a clarification.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It is posted.
Yeah, I didn't say it was or it wasn't. We have a lot of stuff posted on our website, and we will answer that also, Mr. Boyd. The department will extend the public comment period until 5:00 p.m. on January the 31st, 2018. That's 5:00 p.m. on January the 31st, 2018. All comments must be received at the office of the Department of Environmental Management in Montgomery by that time. After consideration of all oral and written comments, the department will make a determination regarding the issuance or the modification of the proposed permit and prepare a document responding to all relevant comments received. If you have not marked your registration card this evening, indicating that you wish to receive the department's response to comments, you should notify the department in writing immediately and send to the attention of Mr. Russell Kelly, Chief of the Permits and Services Division. Comments may also be emailed to hearing.officer@adem.alabama.gov. I'll say that one more time. Comments may also be emailed to hearing.officer@adem.alabama.gov. In addition, the department will notify all persons who request in writing the notice of the final permit decision. Thank you all for your attendance and participation this evening. I wish you all a very good evening. Stay safe, and this hearing is adjourned.
got one.